CurePSP is the foundation for prime of life, neurodegeneration, a spectrum of
incapacitating and incurable diseases
with debilitating motor, cognitive, behavioral, and emotional symptoms.
These afflictions often strike in middle age when people have careers,
family responsibilities, and active lives.
So they include progressive supranuclear palsy, which is also known as PSP, corticobasal degeneration or CBD,
multiple system atrophy, MSA, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, and others.
The mission of CurePSP is care, consciousness, and cure
for devastating prime of life neurodegenerative diseases.
My name is Michael Draper, and I have multiple system atrophy.
Hi, my name is Jim Britton, and I have CBD.
I am Edna Montano, and my husband Nigel suffered from progressive supranuclear palsy, PSP.
My name is Linda Phillips, and I have PSP.
Gracias por acompañarnos.
आप सबका आभार, शुक्रिया, नमस्ते.
Thank you for joining us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Synapse21, the CurePSP Brain Bank benefit. I hope that everyone can hear us. I hope that everyone enjoyed this very powerful and very touching presentation and start of this event today. I'm just going to pause for a few seconds to make sure that you can hear my voice. We have our team on the chat. If you can't hear my voice, maybe you can leave a message in the chat, but hopefully the music we played for a few minutes in this introduction allows you to figure out all the technical issue and the challenge of those new platforms that we have to utilize in these difficult times. All right, so I'll get started. Welcome to this virtual event to support a critical aspect of research towards a cure. Thank you all for joining us this evening. I'm Christoph Diaz, and this is my pleasure to welcome you all live from our headquarters in New York City. I'm the Vice President of Scientific Affairs at CurePSP, and with me tonight is our Masters of Ceremony, Bobby D. Bobby, welcome to the show.
Oh, hello there, everyone. My name is Bobby D, and I'm with Inspire Hearts Fundraising, and I'm so honored to be a part of this event that's not only doing life-saving research, but providing resources for parents, family, and healthcare professionals. And that's where you, as our community, gets to come together as a family to help not only its care, its cure, and its conscience, and just as you've seen in the video. But yes, it's going to be an amazing night, and with your help and your support and your donations, we're going to be one step closer to curing PSP and all of these crazy brain diseases that are with us. So at any time of the night you do feel so inspired, you can text in CurePSP to 41444 and make that donation. But make sure you check out those silent auction items, and we've got some great things that are going to be over there, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But I think it's time. Christoph, let's get it started.
An honor to be here with you all today virtually. I'm looking forward to meeting you all in person when we can. In the meantime, we've gathered for you, and we've gathered here for an important cause, and I'm grateful that you all joined. Again, hopefully you can hear us. Feel free to interact and say hello in the chat. Let us know how you're doing, if you have any issues. And for example, tell us where you're joining us from. We'd love to hear from you. Bobby, back at you.
Speaking of the chat, I mean, we have some friends that are joining us literally nationwide. We have friends in Dallas, Grand Rapids, Rochester, Minnesota, a Mayo location, as well as a friend from California, Jacksonville, Florida, another Mayo location. There's some amazing work that's going on all the way through there. So if you are joining us and might be using one of those other browsers, we'll suggest you go over to Chrome. If you can't hear me, there is a speaker icon on the lower left side over there, and you can hit that button right there to make sure that you hear that. But make sure your window is in full screen mode too. And if you can't see the chat on the right side, there's 4 little buttons right there. Just click that, and you can see the chat pop up. There it is. Look at that. It's so great to see some friends that are here joining us here. It is going to be a nationwide, maybe a worldwide event, because here we are with CurePSP. We're all working together to make this happen and help provide it. So if you do happen to close the window, don't worry. You can hit the back button and then just click the link again, and that email we sent, and you'll be back. No big deal. And then this event is going to be available on the CurePSP YouTube page in just a few weeks, and we'll email everybody when it's ready. There's several buttons at the top of the screen. We have the register, learn more about the brain bank, calendar, as well as our silent auction. There's some great items that are in there, some handmade items, some pieces of art, some quilts, some other things that really represent how grassroots that this is, and how cool would it be to own one of these pieces at the same time to help us raise a lot of money. Because remember, friends, it's not about what you're getting this evening, it's about what you're giving. That's right, giving back to CurePSP for that research, the resources, as well as helping our families that are helping us provide those brain donations. But it's if you just click around with your mouse, open a new window. You can hit right click and then open in a new tab, and that's all kind of over there. If you're like me, I have lots of screens all over, and you can see everything that's going on. But yes, Christoph, I think we have some amazing sponsors we're going to be thanking here.
Yeah, so I'll move on to that. Before I give you a bit more information about today's and CurePSP, would like to thank a bunch of sponsors that have helped us support this event. Our Brain Donation Fund, which we'll tell you a lot about today, and CurePSP in general. So I want to thank you, All Stripes, Biohaven, Bristol Myers Squibb, Lido Day Foundation, Lundbeck, Power Over Parkinson, and the Brody Foundation. So thank you all for the sponsor, without whom we could not run this event tonight. So I'll tell you, one more person, a special person I want to thank is Dr. Sagliano. We'll hear about her today. She'll participate to a patient testimonial with other fantastic speakers there. But I want to thank her for a generous donation and her participation to today's event. So we're looking forward to spending this 90 minutes with you. We worked hard on this virtual celebration and fundraiser to support the CurePSP Brain Donation Program. It's operated in collaboration with the Mayo Clinic Brain Bank in Jacksonville, Florida. The Mayo Clinic's Brain Bank is a vital resource to researchers and scientists because it provides tissue samples that are essential for discovery. As you learned today, brain donation are an extremely important resource. A brain donation represents the ultimate gift to science, and most importantly, for the development of new cures and treatments for all neurodegenerative disorders. We'll underline this throughout the evening. The valuable samples obtained by a brain bank are not just important to advance our basic understanding of tough diseases such as PSP, which is the goal of research. Those dedicated to the life sciences need brain donation and the resources to support brain banks so they can advance cures. This is our ultimate goal and the center of CurePSP mission. Another important and critical role of the Mayo Clinic Brain Bank, after a brain is donated, the family of the deceased receives a neuropathology report that will do its best to confirm the diagnosis of the loved one. As you will learn today from our testimonial, the service provides closure and solace to family, and that's very important to the community. Bobby will talk more about that, but I'd like to mention that for many years, CurePSP has reimbursed some of the costs associated with brain donation. Your support today will enable this reimbursement for many years to come. Thanks to you, when a family wants to participate in this program, they will be able to. So before bringing some of our guests and important voices of our Brain Bank initiative, let me tell you a little bit more about CurePSP. For over 30 years, CurePSP has been the foundation for prime-of-life neurodegeneration. CurePSP is a leading nonprofit advocacy organization focusing on progressive supranuclear palsy, PSP, cortical basal degeneration, CBD, and multiple system atrophy, or MSA. At CurePSP, we thrive to provide support to patients, their families, friends, and caregivers. We also focus on better understanding the biological causes of neurodegeneration, and importantly, in advancing projects that represent hope for new treatment and cure. CurePSP is a grassroots charitable organization. Let me give you a compelling example of what I mean by that. Since the beginning of the pandemic, 11,000 individuals have donated to CurePSP. Your generosity is our lifeline, and I'd like to thank these thousands of donors and emphasize that working for a foundation supported by real people from all around the world makes our team very proud. CurePSP is also the main source of information and assistance for patients, family, caregivers, researchers, physicians, and healthcare professionals. Another example, since 2019, we've provided more than 1,500 printed information packets to families starting their battle with these difficult journeys. One last example before I give the microphone back to Bobby is that since 2017, thanks to the Cherry Livian Quality of Life Fund, we've helped more than 100 families pay for in-home care. Speaking of the Cherry Livian Quality of Life Fund, CurePSP has another event on July 14th supporting this initiative. Mark your calendar and visit our website for more information at psp.org. Back to the purpose of today's gathering. CurePSP brain tissue donation program started in 1998 and has been collaborating with the Mayo Clinic from the start. Since then, under the leadership of the Mayo Clinic's director, Dr. Dennis Dixon, thousands of scientists from around the world have advanced our knowledge of brain diseases. By donating a brain to the brain bank, a scientific legacy is created. By donating a brain to a brain bank, family enables studies that would otherwise be impossible to conduct. Ultimately, you bring to life possible breakthrough. Passing the baton back to Bobby.
Christoph, that's absolutely right. Ultimately, you, our friends, our volunteers, our donors, are the ones that bring that life to these possible breakthroughs, and we couldn't have done it without you. And many people don't know that when a patient passes away, that there's costs associated with donating their brains. Neither CurePSP nor the Mayo Clinic imposes a charge for any part of the brain donation process. However, charges are typically imposed by the technician performing the steps to donate the brain, and this cost usually ranges between $500 and $2,000, and it's the responsibility of the family. But at CurePSP, we recognize the expenses that related to brain donation can be prohibitive for some families, and they're like, yeah, I want to, but I just can't. But many years ago, thanks to generous donors like you, we created the CurePSP Brain Tissue Donation Fund. And this has allowed CurePSP to provide financial assistance to hundreds of families that pledged for a brain donation. Your generosity today will help us to replenish this fund so we can continue to keep on reimbursing families for many years to come. Now, friends, we have a big goal ahead of us today. It's $100,000. I know this is ambitious, but I know together we all can work together to make this happen. And with your assistance, we can achieve it and more. We're not going to stop if we hit 100,000. And we're off to an amazing start already. We have well over 100 donors. Look at it, 107 donors. Oh my gosh, Frank and Amy and Eric and Kevin and Linda. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have some amazing volunteers that are watching us as well. Fran and Mary, Jack Phelps, Rick. Thank you. This is so, so awesome. And friends, yes, as you see Dr. Nancy Stagliano's name up on the screen, she is providing a matching gift here this evening, a matching gift, but that's a challenge gift. And we are challenging you, our friends that are watching here this evening, to help us match $40,000. So with Dr. Stagliano and you, $40,000 could come together to get us $80,000. And that means we're just $20,000 away from that $100,000 goal. So friends, right now, if you can give and text CurePSP to 41444, you can make that donation. You can also click at the top. There's a big donate button right there, big and red. You can't miss it in CurePSP red, but you can make that donation right there. But yes, we have some more donations coming in. Oh my gosh, look at that, friends. We're over halfway there. That is so, so great. Frederick, thank you. Elizabeth, thank you. Barbara, Alice, and friends, let's do this. Let's match this. And here, let's do this. Now, Dr. Stagliano lost her father to PSP and personally understands the importance of research and a family's journey through neurodegradation. She's a leader and an entrepreneur in biotechnology, and her support is a recognition of the importance of brain donations and brain banks, and that's what you're here to fund. So please, friends, if you can make that donation, we'll be matching that, and we'll work together because we have our researchers, we have our scientists, we have our doctors, and we also have our families, and we have you. joining together in collaboration. And for tonight, I'd like to just throw this number out there. For anyone that donates $750, which signifies the reimbursement grant that we provide back to the families that make their donation, we're going to throw in a CurePSP Because Hope Matters blanket, so you can wrap yourselves in that and you can feel that warm hug that the CurePSP family provides. And tonight, again, it's so easy to give on that mobile phone. You can make a gift of any amount. So please get that smartphone out, open a new text message, so easy, and type in there the to area of the text message, 41444, and then message CurePSP, hit send, and then you'll get a text message in response. And with that link, you can fulfill your pledge right there. And you can give one time, you can give monthly. There's so many other great ways that you can give right there. Super easy. And if you need any assistance, just email us, events@curepsp.org, or click the donate button on the top of your screen. Super easy. And those of you that donate tonight are going to be over on the chat wall. I mean, look at all the names that are coming up. Tamara, Lynn, Patricia, and no gift is too small, and also no gift is too large. So if you want to give multiple times this evening, you can go ahead and make that happen. But yes, and like I said, Mike, thank you. Judith, thank you. Eileen, thank you. This is great. We also have our great silent auction items that are available as well too. Now, to check out the items, just click that auction button. It's right there next to the donate button, and you can see all these great items that we have. We have many items, including a painting from Braca, as well Turner, who has had PSP, Braca Turner, get in there on that painting, jewelry, life coaching sessions. And now that we can travel again, thank you. They were shooting fireworks off in New York to celebrate the lifting of the restrictions. We also have a 3-night wine experience in Sonoma, as well as a Broadway vacation for 2 to right here in New York City. And friends, I know that you want to come here, get back to Broadway. Broadway lights are going to be brighter than ever, and we couldn't invite you even more deeper than into this beautiful city. Well, friends, before we get started, we want to see you, the viewing audience. Get social. Show us your pictures with your snack boxes, as well as your party and place boxes on Twitter and Instagram. Use that hashtag CurePSP and hashtag Synapse21. And now, friends, we're going to get started. Christoph, back to you.
Thanks, Bobby. I hope Bobby's energy is convincing everyone to give to CurePSP. I'm very excited to be working with you on this event, Bobby. So our first speaker tonight is Dr. Amy Rommel. She joined the Rainwater Charitable Foundation in 2018, where she guides medical research programming, with a primary focus on the Rainwater Prize program and other public outreach efforts. Dr. Rommel has been a featured speaker at numerous public events, such as the TEDx San Diego. She has participated in several community programs and advisory efforts, including those associated with the Cancer Moonshot and the World Economic Forum. In addition, she continues to be an avid supporter and volunteer for STEM education outreach and science advocacy. I talked to Amy Rommel. I talked to her many times. We collaborate frequently. But before this evening, I wanted to have her sense of how she would summarize her talk and her presentation. And she said to me this very simple and efficient statement: collaboration plus access equal treatments. And this is something that we hope we can feature today, and that everybody can remember that access to tissue and collaboration between all scientists can truly advance treatments, and we're here to support this program tonight. So thank you for being with us, Dr. Rommel, and welcome to our virtual benefit.
Thank you, Christoph, and the team at CurePSP for this opportunity to share with your community what we have been working on together. For those of you who we have not yet met, the Rainwater Charitable Foundation was created in the early 1990s by renowned private equity investor and philanthropist Richard Rainwater. Initially, the foundation supported K-12 education and other worthy endeavors. But in 2009, Richard was diagnosed with progressive supranuclear palsy, which launched the foundation's research funding to accelerate the development of new diagnostics and treatments for PSP and other tau-related neurodegenerative disorders. During that time, the foundation gathered scientists whose mission was to collaborate, share data and resources, and work with urgency to better understand this disease so treatments could be generated. That group became known as the Tau Consortium, which now consists of just over 48 lead researchers, as well as dozens of postdocs and students, and other organizations like CurePSP. With more than $145 million invested to date, The Rainwater Charitable Foundation has helped advance 8 treatments into human trials and has dozens others in the pipeline within our network of collaborative researchers. During our time trying to get effective treatments across the finish line, we learned a few things. The most important thing we learned was access is a problem. Specifically, access to high-quality tissue and associated clinical and genetic data from our biobanks remains a barrier to research and drug discovery productivity, especially with respect to rare diseases like our focus, PSP. If researchers or pharmaceutical companies cannot access or are delayed in accessing these tissues and information, it is near impossible for them to initiate or maintain a research or drug discovery program in that disease. Biobanking infrastructure has critical impact on the pace and effectiveness of drug discovery. Our biobanks need our help so they can expand this needed access and avoid any bottlenecks causing delays. In collaboration and partnership with CurePSP and now also the AFTD, we are supporting an initiative to establish a federated network of 4 biobanks with an upgraded data management solution and a centralized research-facing tissue access portal that will allow researchers to assess tissue inventories online and request tissue through a seamless web-based system. The 4 biobanks that have come together to collaborate for this initiative include the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, led by Dr. John Crary, Boston University School of Medicine, led by Dr. Ann McKee, the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida, led by Dr. Dennis Dixon, who you will hear from later this evening, and the University of California, San Francisco, led by Drs. William Seeley and Leah Grimberg. Right now, we are 3 to 4 years out from this initiative being completed, when all 4 biobanks will be fully upgraded and linked within this unified network. With each partner organization that comes on board and with each donor that supports, we accelerate this timeline to bring these 4 biobanks together and bring their systems online to expand this much needed access. Ultimately, this will get the needed effective treatments for those that suffer from PSP across the finish line faster. All of us collaborating and increasing this needed access will equal more treatments in the pipeline. Collaboration plus access equals treatments. Thank you for being here with us. We can do this together.
Thank you, Dr. Rommel, for sharing your perspective and an update on the biobanking initiative that we just recently launched in collaboration with your organization and also the FTD. We are honored to have the Rainwater Charitable Foundation be part of this program tonight. When Richard Rainwater was diagnosed with PSP in 2009, he put together many collaborative programs to advance science and research. We've worked together for many years, and more recently, we co-funded research projects that are advancing new cures for tauopathy, which are tauopathy, tau being the protein that is involved in PSP and CBD and many other neurodegenerative disorders, including Alzheimer. So I see CurePSP in our collaboration with the Rainwater Charitable Foundation as the entity that is bringing the patient voice to the Rainwater Foundation's important and transformational work. So let's continue with the night, and I'll pass the microphone to Bobby now.
That's right. Like Dr. Rommel said, we can do this together. We can do this together, and it's collaboration plus access equals treatments. And you are collaborators. You are helping us with this research, and you are helping us to fund this great brain bank, as well as grants for these families that are so, I mean, they make the ultimate donation. I mean, it's that brain that we're able to research and find, and work towards that cure. And these collaborations are absolutely critical in advancing these discoveries to slow or cure neurodegeneration. Now, this is not just an older, as you age type of disease. I mean, there's people that are in the prime of their life, 50, 55, 60, 65, that are developing these diseases, and they don't know where they come from. And that's where your donations are able to help here tonight. This is research. And today, right now, you have that opportunity to be a part of this and collaborate with this and collaborate with a gift. And as a reminder, remember, with the generosity of Dr. Stegliano, all gifts today are going to be matched up to $40,000. Now, friends, if you look at that thermometer really fast, oh my gosh, we are continue to rise. We are 64% of the way there, but let's make it 110%. We can do this. I want to thank Amy Branch, one of our board members. Thank you for donating for one of our grants. And because you've donated $750 or more, you receive a blanket. Yes, let's get some more friends to do that, as well as a speaker that's coming up a little bit later. Dr. Amy Cow has also just donated as well. And Nick, oh, look at this. Nick, brother of Dr. Stegliano, steps up and says, you know what, I want to provide a grant for a family to help cover those expenses of the donation. That's awesome. That like I said, it's family. It's everyone coming together, and this is epic. This is we're going to continue to do this. So, friends, keep going, keep giving. We want to thank Mike DeGraffid, Matthew McCannon, Tamara Pinacci, and Jeff Ring. Thank you, as well as a special thanks to our CurePSP board of directors. Amy, again, thank you for your help. Everett Cook and Bill and Eileen McFarland for your donations, as well as our former board member, Dr. Jeff Friedman, who's currently hiking to raise funds for CurePSP. He's climbing a mountain, and we're climbing a mountain here this evening. And friends, we keep getting closer because you are helping us to match those donations from Dr. Stegliano, and we're going to do this together. I know we are. So, friends, don't forget about that silent auction that we have. There's some great items in there. Click the auction button. I wish we all could have that live auction, and I could do that auction talk that 25, 35, 45, 55. No, it's a silent auction, so shh. Click the button, click and win. So we want to bring this over to one person, Carol Laughlin, who's benefited from the Brain Bank at Mayo. Carol recently lost her husband to PSP, and he donated his brain to the clinic. And this is their story. Have a watch.
My husband was initially diagnosed with cortical basal degeneration, or CBD, and that was subsequently changed to PSP. So the autopsy was very important to us to know what he actually had, which it turned out was CBD. My husband was hesitant to participate in the program, but as we interacted with the people in our support group and learned what their plans were and why, he changed his mind. This was about a year before he passed away, and in preparation for it, I called the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida, and got information from them about the paperwork and the process, and began to get things ready for the time when it came. The people at the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville were very, very helpful, gave me the information that I needed, the paperwork that I needed to complete, and the information regarding the Deaners in the area who could do the brain harvesting. And so I completed all of the paperwork, got everything lined up, worked with a funeral home so that we had the facility available when he did pass to be able to do the harvesting. It's very important to make sure that the funeral home has that ability or has another facility they can use. It was very important to us, my family and myself, because we had conflicting diagnoses. He was diagnosed originally with CBD and then subsequently with PSP, so we didn't really know what he had, and there were a lot of questions. The process started with completing the paperwork for them, submitting that to them, and then arranging for someone to do the harvesting of the brain when the time came. And we went ahead and contacted what they call a Deaner in the area, and set that all up in advance. It is very, very comforting to know that Terry's brain tissue has been sent all over the world where they're doing research, and that ultimately this will help other people. It didn't help him, but it will help other people, and there's great comfort and peace to that. We also provided the autopsy to his neurologist in hopes that it will provide him with key information in making accurate diagnoses going forward. CurePSP was instrumental in helping us get through this 3.5 years of illness with my husband. The support group was just priceless, and the information that we learned through participation in the support group helped us navigate this journey.
Wow, friends, they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And with that video, I mean, that's worth 1,000,000 right there. And this video, it said it all. I mean, however, there's still so many questions when it comes to these many brain diseases. And as Carol said, that ultimate donation is helping so many beyond the passing of their loved ones. And many of us know how huge of an issue this brain disease is. And many of you have had friends and loved ones that are affected or will be affected. And we understand the staggering weight facing this generation. And here's some numbers. I just want to talk to some numbers with you. And these are some dollar figures. Now, I'd like to see, and if there's anyone out there that'd like to make that inspirational donation and make a donation of $1,500. These $1,500 supports the genome sequencing that has the potential to be an important tool to guide therapeutic intervention to brain disease in the future. I mean, you think of how many neurons and synapses are going on in the brain at any time, and then there's one little piece of code in there that gets flipped, and that can transition into that brain disease. But by working together and looking at these genome sequencing, they can go in and they can fix that. They're trying to find this cure, and with your help, we can do this. And as we said, kind of that magic number that we have this evening, $750 fully funds one brain donation. And you get a blanket from that, and you get that nice warm hug. So, I mean, who doesn't want to be a part of that? And, I want to thank so many that have already given at that $750 level. I really have to thank Bill McFarland and his wife, Eileen, for stepping up and saying, yes, we are going to fund one of those grants for one of those brain donations. So I want to thank you so much. Thank you for being the chair and all the great work that you both are providing here at CurePSP. I mean, what a great leadership stepping up and doing that. Now, friends, you might not be able to make that gift at that $750 level. It's okay, because they say teamwork makes the dream work, and we are all part of this team. We are all part of this family. And maybe you can make a donation of $100 or more. And this is a great way to sponsor the Ask the Scientist webinars to educate other neuroscientists on the latest research. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's these research and these resources for healthcare professionals, because there's so many questions. And yeah, because they are neuroscientists, they know they don't know it all, and they come to the experts at CurePSP that are doing the research and are able to help provide that and open source. I mean, it's like, look here, this is what we have, and this is how we can help, because together we are all fighting these brain diseases. And maybe, friends, you want to make a $50 donation. And what this $50 donation helps us to send educational packets to people that want to learn more about the brain donation process. I mean, this is a scary thing, especially with a doctor's like, have you considered a brain donation with, from your loved one? And you kind of might take a step back and be like, what? What are you talking about? But to have these informational packets to share with them and to say, like, look, this is how you're able to help save lives, beyond this great life that you've lived, and your legacy can live on. I mean, it's so very, very amazing. So, friends, won't you be a part of the future of neurodegenerative research? Please, right now, this is that time. Type in CurePSP to 41444 and click in and be a part of that, or hit that big red donate button and help us be a part of that. I just want to oh my gosh, friends, we're 67% of the way there. We are so close to helping funding this, and we're doing it with your generosity this evening. So thank you again to all of our donors that are out there: Mary Jo, Deanne, Teresa, Kathy, look at that, Carissa. Oh my gosh, so many donors that are there. So the generosity is inspiring, and it's also electric. And let's see some more electricity. Christoph, I think we've have a really, really awesome video coming up here. So why don't you introduce us?
Thank you, Bobby. Before I introduce everyone here, I just wanted to, we're getting a lot of live information here being fed to us during this fundraising. It's very exciting. So I just want to thank personally and on behalf of CurePSP, Everett Cook, is also a board member who just donated, I believe, $2,500. Thank you so much, Everett, for your support in general and for your support tonight. And Bobby will keep on tracking the donation and thank other people. So we've already mentioned our next speaker many times tonight, Dr. Dennis Dixon. We also should mention his team and his work, how Dr. Dixon and his team oversee the operation of the Brain Bank at the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. So Dr. Dixon is a world-renowned neuroscientist. He's a thought leader and experienced researcher. He's an expert neuropathologist and has advanced the field in diagnosis of many diseases, including PSP, CBD, MSA, but also FTD, ALS, and CTE. Dr. Dixon also works on Alzheimer's research and is a brain bank that has one of the biggest collections in the United States. So Dr. Dixon will talk a little bit about the brain bank, its operation, and its important role in research. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll meet right after that. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Dennis Dixon. I'm professor of pathology and neuropathology at Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida. And I'm going to give you a little bit of information about our brain bank for neurodegenerative disorders. Although Mayo Clinic is in Jacksonville, Florida, we in fact receive brains from all 50 states. And the number of brains that we get depends to some extent on the population. So we get a lot of brains from Florida and actually a lot from California. And states like Texas, a very populous state. But we actually get it from all states of the United States. And this initiative was initially established for PSP brain donations, but subsequently it's been expanded to other disorders such as Lewy body dementia and multiple system atrophy as well. When we get a brain, we have to do some evaluations and in order to understand what the disease is, and then to be able to use that brain tissue for research, we need to know exactly what the disorder is. So upon receiving the brain, and usually the half of the brain is fixed in preservative, formaldehyde, and the other half is frozen, usually in a very cold freezer, like a -80 freezer. And the fixed half undergoes a systematic dissection and sampling. And those samples then are used for histologic studies. We do this in what we call a brain cutting conference, in which the clinical information for the patient is summarized before we dissect the brain. And then there's discussion of the case, discussion of the findings and how it matches or it doesn't match the clinical information. And this brain cutting conference is attended by research trainees and students, graduate level students. So once the tissue is dissected, the tissue is embedded in paraffin wax. So this is a section of brain tissue. It's actually a midbrain section. And then these embedded sections are cut with a very sharp blade. It's called a microtome. The sections then are mounted on glass slides, and then they go through a series of staining processes that generates a set of slides on a case from multiple different brain regions, all stained with a histologic stain. Those slides are then evaluated with a microscope, and from the microscopic evaluation, we generate a diagnostic report, and we collect quantitative parameters on the brain that can be used for research. We then send a copy of the report and a letter to the next of kin, summarizing the findings in lay terms. So since the brain bank was established in 1998, and this isn't quite up to date, but we've generated over 4,000 diagnostic reports that we've sent to family members or to the clinician involved in the care of the patient. The brain bank has over 6,000 fixed specimens and over 6,000 frozen specimens. The frozen tissue, as I mentioned, stored in a very cold freezer. They're sometimes called ultra freezers because it's -80 degrees centigrade. And these are examples of the types of freezers. Each freezer holds about somewhere between 50 and 100 brains, depending upon how much of the tissue is left after it's been sampled and shared. We have over 30 of these freezers in a special building that's actually a Category 5 hurricane-proof building. We sit in Jacksonville, Florida, which is susceptible to hurricanes, but this building is very secure in terms of its structure, and also the electrical supply for these freezers is on the generator backup. It says city-based electricity, but in the event that there's power outage, there's a generator that actually powers the hospital as well as our freezer room. So these are high priority areas that are kept with electricity. Each freezer costs about $10,000. The type of activities that the brain bank does, we acquire tissue. We also try to acquire medical records on all the cases where we get brain tissue. This is a collaborative effort with the next of kin, because we cannot ask for those medical records. We don't have the authority to do that. The family has to do this. And so they go to the physicians who are involved in the care of that patient and ask for medical records to be sent. They're either sent as hard copies or they're sent by fax. Sometimes we get flash drives that have the medical records. Sometimes they're sent through other electronic means. But we then use those medical records are linked to the report, so that if individuals want to do clinical pathologic studies, they have access to medical information on the patients as well as the pathology, and then the genetics and the histopathologic findings in those brains. We generate I mentioned, we showed you, we do histology and immunohistochemistry on all cases. We generate a diagnostic report. We use Microsoft Word for that report. The report then is saved in the Word format, and a copy of that report is sent to the family and to the referring physician. I mentioned we send copies of the report to the pathologist and to the next of kin. We have a database, and we use Microsoft Access for this. And then we store the hard copy. Actually, the hard copies of all the medical records are stored in that campus support facility. We call it the bunker. We generate about somewhere between 200 and 300 diagnostic reports per year. This is at up to 2020 where we stand in terms of reports. You can see that initially we're generating around 200 reports, and then we've kind of moved up in the range of 300. And there's kind of an aberration in 2020 where we had over 400 brains and diagnostic reports were generated. And one of the reasons that we think that we've had this bump is because of COVID-19. I would just mention that our brain bank, we do a lot of work on human material, but we also serve research labs that are doing animal models of degenerative diseases. And then we share. A brain bank is not a savings bank. We think of it as a checking account. Money goes in, but money goes out. So we bring in brains, but we also share brains. We give brain samples to a number of labs, and you can see this is incomplete information, obviously, for this year, but we share anywhere from 500 to almost 2,000 brain samples per year. And the samples go for a variety of studies. They end up being part of really important genetic discoveries of disorders like Alzheimer's, Lewy body dementia, and PSP. This is an example of some very large multi-center studies looking at the genetics of PSP, Lewy body dementia, and Alzheimer's using the resources from our brain bank, in addition to other brain banks. But in fact, in some of these studies, especially studies that are focused on PSP, our brain bank is the major contributor of the samples that are involved in those next generation genetic type studies. I just want to conclude by thanking you for allowing me to participate in this event. And to let you know a little bit more about the brain bank here at Mayo Clinic that's been supported for many years by CurePSP and more recently with the Rainwater Charitable Foundation. And have a great night.
Thank you, everyone, for being with us tonight, and a big thank you to Dr. Dixon for his presentation and all the information he shared with us today. As we're going through the show and through the event, I realize we're sharing a lot of information with you, and I wish we could talk a lot more about many aspects of the information we share with you. But we only have 90 minutes, and we must continue. But feel free to reach out to me directly at diaz@curepsp.org or to our info@curepsp.org email if you have any questions, and if anything that you've seen tonight struck your curiosity and you want to learn more about all the different aspects of this very, very important program. So another reminder that whatever you give will help CurePSP and our brain banking initiative. Our organization rely on the dedication and passion of our staff, volunteers, and board members, as you've seen tonight already. We're all in this together, and together we can raise awareness and raise the funds needed to help those battling brain diseases. So back at you, Bobby.
Oh, wow, Christoph. I mean, we learned so much from Dr. Dixon. I mean, you kind of diving into the science and also the storage of how, this brain bank works. I mean, the cost of freezers alone, $10,000, and that they have 30 to maintain the collection of thousands of brain samples. I mean, think about that. I mean, they call it the bunker. I mean, that's $300,000 just to store these samples. And as you can imagine, these freezers need to be replaced and powered and all of that. But we can help with your donations here this evening. Let's do this. We can continue to do this. And a reminder that we have CurePSP that does reimburse for these brain donations. A gift of $750 really can help enable one family to donate that brain that goes into that brain bank and then helps us provide that research. So now, everyone, please just pull out your phone. We've got two things that I want you to do with this. So get out. Open your text message, type in 41444, and then type CurePSP. Hit send. Boom. And then, you could click the donate button up there, but you're on your phone anyways. Get in there, make that donation, make that $750 or more donation, and we're going to send that beautiful, warm CurePSP blanket out to you. And I have some very, very exciting news. One of our board members, Everett Cook, helped us take us almost to that 70% level. Friends, we're at $68,000. Don't forget about that match that we have, and we're going to do this. We are this close away from doing that. So Everett, thank you so much, as well as Jeff Friedman, former board member, currently hiking. Now, this came in through the chat. He said, I've come down off the mountain to donate $750 to be a part of the tonight to help provide an additional brain donation. And you can do that. Join these amazing people. Let's do this. And friends, we're getting there. The donations keep going up. Eileen, Lisa, Frank, Amy. Oh, this is so good. Just keep going on there. And I just went through the silent auction, and there's some great items in there. There's some jewelry, some handmade crafted items that you can't find anywhere else, as well as that Napa, Sonoma, and Broadway. I mean, get out there, check these things out, and make that donation, make a purchase, and help us with this brain research as well as the brain banks. I mean, this is an exciting night, and to see this all come together, that's the collaboration, that's the access, that's the awareness, and that's us helping us to find that cure. So thank you, friends. Keep donating, keep giving, and keep being a part of this just revolutionary research. And you are a true contributor of this when you make that donation. So keep giving, bid in that silent auction. And Christoph, this is going to be really neat. We have a very, very special person. So let's find out who that is.
You're right, Bobby. So next, it looks like Amy Cow has joined us from the West Coast, and she's, like us, courageous to join live this exciting event today. So I just want to thank you, Amy Cow, Dr. Cow, for her continued support. She presented to our 2016 San Francisco Family Conference, and is also from the past has been funded by CurePSP. So Dr. Cow joined us from the University of California in San Francisco. She's an associate professor of neurology there. Dr. Gao clinical expertise includes the diagnosis and treatment of Alzheimer's disease, vascular dementia, and frontotemporal lobe degeneration. Her basic science laboratory studies how age, stress, and other factors affect protein homeostasis and contribute to sporadic and familial neurodegenerative disorder. She has received the Paul G. Allen Family Foundation Distinguished Investigator Award in Neurodegenerative Diseases and the Glenn Award for Research in the Biological Mechanisms of Aging. Dr. Gao will be talking to us about how brain donation has impacted and enabled our research, and we're looking forward to her presentation. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Gao, and hopefully tech is working, and we're looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you so much, Christophe. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. I definitely want to thank CurePSP for having me here tonight, as well as for the generous support of my research program in the past. I wish this were in person though, and because it's not, I just want to do a quick shout out and hello to my friends at CurePSP, David Kemp, Jeff Friedman, Larry Golby, Amy Branch, Everett Cook, all these people that I wish I could be catching up with now in person, but remote is better than nothing. So CurePSP is a wonderful organization. It's really made a huge and positive impact on the basic science research and also the movement towards therapeutics for these diseases. I'm a physician and a scientist, and so my job tonight is to tell you about how brain banks activities and tissues have actually directly and positively impacted basic science research into diseases like CurePSP, like PSP, CBD, Alzheimer's disease, other tauopathies. So if I could get my slides up, that would be terrific. Great. Okay, so I wanted to start off by sort of explaining what we kind of do in lab, but from a very, very broad perspective, which is sort of how do you organize this sort of idea, this big human research endeavor, human disease research endeavor. And this is what I like to call the benevolent cycle of human disease research, but this is actually a cycle that I first learned about and borrowed from another physician scientist named Charlotte Sumner. So what happens is that somebody has to present with a condition. It could be a headache or it could be a rash. And then that condition has to be described by a physician or an observer. And then more affected persons can be identified. Cohorts of these affected individuals can be gathered, and then causes can be identified. So it could be exposures to toxins or allergies. And then once those causes are identified, you can sort of understand the disease mechanisms, find biomarkers, for example, a fever in an infection. And then the molecules can be targeted for therapeutics. Once that's done, you can develop treatments. And then if you're really, really lucky, you can develop preventions or cures. So this is a cycle that sort of works for everything we study in sort of human disease research. Aging is not a disease, but it's a biological process we try and understand. But all these other examples in the center of the screen have been part of this cycle. And in fact, neurodegenerative diseases like PSP absolutely have been too. It's taken a long time to get through this cycle. The first individual with Alzheimer's disease was actually described over 100 years ago. That condition had to be described, and then we had to go through all the way to this part. And we're just now getting to better understanding disease mechanisms and biomarkers. So why has it taken so long, right? And why don't we have cures yet? Well, there are really some special challenges in neurodegenerative disease research because these are brain disorders, and the brain is kind of locked away in a box. We can't really see the brain like we can the skin, let's say, and we can't hear the brain like we can the heart, and we can't measure the output of the brain like we can for the kidneys. So it's really locked away. In addition, the brain does tons of things. It helps us talk, it helps us walk, it helps us perform music. It helps us do research. And so there's so many functions that we really have to understand the brain in a very complex way. These diseases have taken a long time just to understand the symptoms, and that's because the brain and its functions and outputs are so complicated. And aging affects the brain, and it's been hard to distinguish what's normal aging from what's pathological aging of the brain. We are finally now understanding the basic science of these diseases, but it's still really hard to find biomarkers, ways to sort of measure brain outputs. And so in my lab, we also study tauopathies. And in fact, over the last few years, we've discovered a new genetic risk factor for PSP and tauopathies. And I bring this up because the punchline is that a lot of the advances that we made really will depend on brain banks. Because here, this is just the type of flow diagram the scientists like to explain. So TSC is this gene, and we had all kinds of data to support TSC1 as a genetic risk factor for PSP. We had human genetics, we had clinical cohorts, we had TSC, cell, and animal models. And so we were so proud. We worked really hard for 3-4 years. We wrote up a paper and we submitted it to our journal. And what did they ask for? They asked for data from human pathology. And so this is where Dennis Dixon and the CurePSP Brain Bank swooped in like superheroes and actually provided us tissue from individuals who carried a particular genetic variant in TSC1. And we were able to show that what we had predicted from all these animal cell genetic markers was actually true in human tissue as well. And this is the data. It's not meaningful tonight, but just to show you, I contacted Dennis. Literally 4 weeks later, he sent me the tissue, and 3 weeks later, we had this data, and we're sending the paper back later, probably later this week or next week. So we've got this benevolent cycle of human disease research, and guess what? We needed the brain bank for the conditions to be described. We needed brain banks for more affected individuals to be identified. In order to organize the cohorts, we needed brain banks. And then in order to figure out the causes and identify them, brain banks. And now, in particular, I illustrated hopefully with my own work, the brain bank has helped with understanding disease mechanisms and biomarkers. And so with that, I just want to thank you all for your attention. CurePSP again for all their support, the Rainwater Tau Consortium, and then of course Dennis Dixon and his colleague Michael at the Mayo Clinic. Thanks again.
So Dr. Cao, tell me, when this team comes together to unlock this, what is that like working with a group like this?
So I have this huge team of friends and collaborators, and it's just like someone said earlier, teamwork is dream work. It's much more fun to work collaboratively, and it accelerates the pace of discovery in science. So yeah, the more the merrier.
Nice. Thank you, Dr. Cao. What an honor to have you join with us. And thank you for so much information. And you're right, teamwork, dream work, that's it. Excellent. Well, Christoph, we have some more information. We have an infographic from tonight to show where the research is being done with the brains from the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida. Tell us a little bit more about this before we really dive in.
Sure. Before I dive in, I just want to thank again Dr. Gao for her presentation. I know that there's been some personal thank you also in the chat. So the community thanks you, Amy Gao, for all the work you're doing, and thanks for the kind word and for your continued support in all the organization that enabled those collaborations. So we do have this infographic. It's a simple way to showcase the international importance of brain banks in general and Mayo Clinic in particular. So it's just a minute. We'll cue it up now, and I'll see you right after.
Neuroscientists at Mayo Clinic's campus in Florida are leaders in the discovery of new genes, biomarkers, and therapeutic targets for brain diseases. Their work is made possible through Mayo Clinic's Brain Bank and its director, Dr. Dennis Dixon. CurePSP is proud to support the Brain Donations Program. The Mayo Clinic Brain Bank and the CurePSP Brain Donation Program empower researchers at leading academic institutions in the United States and internationally. Since 2016, the Mayo Clinic Brain Bank, under Dr. Dixon's leadership, has provided close to 7,000 brain samples to hundreds of scientists and research teams around the world. This has led to hundreds of publications and a greater understanding of the biological mechanisms involved in PSP, MSA, and CBD, and also Alzheimer's diseases. On behalf of CurePSP and its community, thank you for your support.
Wow, Dr. Diaz. I mean that really goes to show. That's nationwide coming together and really trying to tap on so many different points of research and really bringing it together. I mean, bringing the best minds to really help fight these brain diseases.
Absolutely, and as you can see from the video, we showcased a few places that received tissue from the brain bank, and we pinpoint some of the names of and the great techniques that are enabled by those tissue, and we'll discuss this a bit more later. But based on Dr. Dixon's presentation and some of the information shared with me, from the beginning of the brain bank, Jacksonville, they've distributed close to 10,000 samples in most centers in the US and also in South America and Europe, Asia, and Australia. And basically, most of the leading academic and research centers that focus on understanding the mechanism in neurodegenerative diseases have at some point obtained enabling samples from the brain bank. So before we move on to a few other testimony, we wanted to share another infographic with everyone tonight. So we created a sketch to explain the most important steps and value of brain donation. As I will take you through it for a couple minutes, and I realize there's a lot of information on this particular schematic. We will share it on our website in a few weeks, and you can take the time to review it and also ask us any question. As I mentioned before, always feel free to contact us. So the title, I think, is critical. Brain donation paves the path to new therapeutics and treatments. And we keep on insisting on this today because not only collaboration to process and utilize those very useful and precious donations are important for science, but are really important and critical to prove and advance potential new therapeutics and treatment. So I'll take you quickly through the schematic, and we'll start by the left side of it. As you see, there are three aspects of this drawing. On the left side, it really is about the people. And the take home here is that we are here to help the families that are interested in exploring brain donation. The Mayo Clinic has a great team and a brain bank coordinator, Rochelle Apai Harwood, that is crucial in the success of the program. And so not only you have access to us for help, we do have on our website different forms and informational packet that will really tell you all what you need to do in order to put in place a donation. But as I said, the take-home message here is plan ahead and ask all the questions with those that are here to help you, like us in the Mayo Clinic. And also make sure that amongst yourself, for a given family members, loved ones, and friends, that we really discuss all the aspects. Sometimes someone affected by a disease is very excited in making the donation and participating to research for those incurable diseases, but then the family has also needs to align on this particular decision. If we move now to the center of the schematic of this drawing, that we represented here the moment of truth, and to me the moment of truth really represents two aspects of that journey. Is a moment where the loved one passes, and there's a quick set of processes that have to be put in place to enable the donation that was a wish of the family. And the Mayo Clinic Brain Bank has a set of processes that they help the particular family, wherever they are in the US, to be able to process the donation and to make sure that the brain makes it to the Mayo Clinic quickly, and that the tissue are treated with care. The second part of the moment of truth really is what you see in the lower part of the center section of the drawing, is that you see the brain there in the microscope, It takes time, and you'll see that in a testimony in a bit. The family will talk about the timeline around from donation to receiving this neuropathology report. It takes time because it's a complex and scientifically led and based process to actually process the brain, find the region that have the information that will help the scientists and the family understand what was the cause of death and what was the disease. So once this report is done, it's then shared with the family, and I'll finish on that section before I describe the science by telling you that the closure that this report brings to family is quite unbelievable, and I've had the chance to speak to many families and realize how important it is for them to really have this ability to understand what happened to their loved one. And finally, it's a little small there, but if you move on to the right side in science, there's a neuron here, and I mentioned there's 1 billion of them. It's an estimation, but 1 billion neuron. And what's often not discussed is that there's 1 trillion cells that support neuronal function. So if you think of the brain, it's often mentioned that it's the last frontier, but it is. Brains are of unmatched complexity, and the only way we can understand diseases is by studying human brains. And the last part of the science aspect is that we focus directly on PSP, CBD, and MSA. The Mayo Clinic Brain Bank also works on many other neurodegenerative diseases. And the point is, some of the fundamental mechanisms that can be studied with breakthrough techniques, and I mentioned a few down there, cryo-EM or single-cell sequencing, they're things that didn't exist 5-10 years ago. And now that those techniques exist, they can be applied to all this brain donation that people have made for many years ago and continue to do, and we can then advance discovery based on new technology. So I'll stop now with my description here, and I'll pass back the microphone to Bobby. But before we do, you can contact us if you have any question about this drawing, and we'll be more than happy to take you through it. So thank you again for your attention, and Bobby, back at you.
Wow, my billions of neurons are like, this is what it's really all about, my friends. It's the people that are behind this. It's the families, the brain donors that actually provide those samples to give the people that are the researchers, the doctors, to really dive in and examine and identify where that that disease lives, and then to really dissect it, go in and accelerate the research and finding the cure of these neurodegenerative diseases. It's happening. And think about that acceleration, like Dr. Kao said. These new findings, just 5 and 10 years old. If CurePSP wasn't here and we weren't getting the brain donations into the brain bank, we could be 20, 30, 40, 50 years behind where we are now. It's your donations, it's your generosity, it's your engagement that are accelerating this. So the more you can give, the faster we can accelerate this, the more brains we can have, the deeper we can build that brain bank, and it's really up to you. So friends, let's do this and let's make this happen. And I'm going to take another look at the thermometer. Oh my gosh, we are just about 70% there. I know we've had the donations slow a little bit, but if everyone that's watching, would you please send this out to your network, your Facebook friends, your Instagram friends. Be like, look, I'm part of CurePSP. I love them, and I love everything that they're doing, because they could save my life and they could save yours. And invite them to make a donation. If you consider making a deeper donation, this is that time. And we still have those dollars from Dr. Segliano, who came up in the chat, and she's like, the generosity is amazing. So friends, let's do this. Let's get to that goal, and let's push ahead, and let's accelerate that. And it's that $750 donation that really reimburses that cost of a donation. So wouldn't you consider making that donation right now? $750. Just think about that. Spanned over a year. Yeah, that's not that much. It's like $60 a month. I spend more on these things than we're asking right now. So if you'd like to make what we call a latte legacy donation, this is a great time to go ahead and do that. Make that $750 donation. I want to thank everyone. I just want to pop in and thank a couple donors that popped up here on my radar. Mike DeGraffid, Jeff Garvey, Linda Spears, Diane Larson. Thank you so much for joining us and being part of this. Thank you for giving and having your donation matched. So friends, let's hear directly from individuals who have been through this process. We're going to hear from 6 people that have directly dealt with this very, very difficult decision and learn about the steps to enable a brain donation with their loved ones. And they'll tell us about their experience and how this process is and just kind of how it's been illustrated. But it's, hearing directly from these individuals to know the firsthand benefits of a brain donation. So please welcome our friends.
My name is Jocelyn Gervais Finney, and my late husband, Pierre Gervais, is my loved one.
My name is Paul Freeman. My wife, Eva Freeman, had PSP.
I'm Don Sproul. My wife, Kathleen Sproul, passed away with PSP about 1 month ago.
And I am Bethany Sproul LeBrun. I am her youngest daughter.
I'm Nancy Stagliano, and my father, Vincent Stagliano, passed away from PSP.
My name is Solna Brody, and I'm the sister of Dr. Lawrence Brody, and I've been a supporter of CurePSP for a number of years.
When my wife was sick, I was actually first time was at a family conference, and Dr. Dennis Dixon was one of the speakers at the conference and mentioned the brain donation program and also the brain autopsy and confirming, what they can do with confirming whether the person did have PSP or had something else or had a combination of complications.
I found out about the brain donation program while I was helping my brother who had multiple different diagnoses from many doctors. Mayo Clinic came highly recommended, and Dr. Dennis Dixon was a world-renowned scientist, and all the doctors said donate to that brain bank, and so that's why we donated to the brain bank at the Mayo Clinic.
As a neuroscientist, it, for me, is a critical thing for us to work in every way possible to understand the disease better so that we can treat it and we can cure it. And so certainly from the perspective of a daughter, a neuroscientist, this area and this organization is really of high interest to me. And then working in drug discovery and biotechnology and working at a company called Neuron23, where we think about and are trying to drug diseases like Parkinson's, thinking about diseases like PSP, you realize the value of brain tissue and the scarcity of model systems to learn about diseases like PSP. And so I think it's a critical mission for the organization and for the field to get samples, bring them in.
My mother was not comfortable at all talking about really the finality of what her reality was going to be in the next couple of years ahead. But the thought that she could do something after she took her last breath that could help her own family, her own grandchildren or great-grandchildren down the road, or other families and other grandmothers. That was really important to her.
Pierre really wanted to be a part of the solution. He did recognize that his illness was incurable, that it was terminal. But so what could we do? What could he do moving forward? He wanted to be part of the solution, and even though the solution wasn't going to impact him, he felt like moving forward, hopefully within the generation of his children, there might be some progress, and he might contribute to that in some very small way.
My brother had no hesitations considering donating his brain. I was a bit hesitant. I didn't know much about brain donation, but I knew about tissue donation. And so once I found out more about the brain donation program, I was all in.
There are people that are hesitant. I'd say just take it easy, take it one step at a time, and you'll get there. But the benefits far outweigh any hesitations.
Well, we had a discussion, and when I knew that she was passing, I was in contact with the people at Mayo in Jacksonville, spoke with them. They coordinated with the hospital for the brain harvesting. And other than that, and filling out some forms, we really didn't have, it was not a very difficult process.
Ultimately, it was the Mayo Clinic that had put us in touch with a private pathologist who made arrangements with the funeral home to be able to go and take care of harvesting Kara's brain post-mortem.
Within 6 hours after her passing, we get this email and we're like, we did it!
Yeah.
You know, we got it, you know, because everything went flawlessly, and you know, it takes a lot of moving parts. It involved us, the funeral director, the pathologist, hospice, main general, like all of these things, and everything aligned beautifully. And it was honestly it was almost,
it was perfect.
You know,
it was a cause of celebration in the
Yes.
family. You know,
Yeah, we were
instead of grieving, we were celebrating.
It gave us light in a time that otherwise would have been a very hard day. And it was like, you know what? She's still doing something right now. She's still, you know, giving to others.
Well, after a few months, we received the autopsy report. Oh, it was such a relief to receive a diagnosis and to finally get closure. It just meant so much to me.
It was important. It was important to Pierre. It was important to me and to our children. Since we had gone this far and made that commitment to really see it through to the end. So as a result, I think it took about 3 months before we actually got the final diagnosis. It just reinforces that the need for the autopsy to confirm, because I think that it also provides the neurologists, I guess there's research regarding the diagnosis of the disease that can happen as a result of these autopsies.
The help is that you at least have some closure and you know what it was. And to be able to know, especially, you know, for my children, whether there's something that makes them genetically susceptible, much more than PSP, which is mostly not genetic. It can be familial. It is mostly non-familial. But to find out or know whether you had a disease, even in a background that may have been familial, that they need to be on the lookout for, is huge. And that's the only way you can find that out, is with the brain autopsy. I highly recommend the brain donation program.
The advice I'd offer is do it now.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Number one, just do it.
We're not going to learn fast enough about this disease without access to good quality samples, without understanding the patient journey, data about how the patients that have donated these samples have lived, what their disease looked like. And And then getting those, getting that information, the data, the samples, the conversations with their clinicians, their neurologists, into the right hands, into investigators' hands, so that we can build an understanding of the pathophysiology of PSP. We need all of that, and we need all of that to happen now. We need to get this work done as soon as possible. So there are examples in neuroscience where we say time is brain. It's a very relevant saying here as well. This is a very rapidly progressing disease, and we don't have any time to waste. And so I want to thank you for doing this and allowing me to participate in it, because I know that initiatives like this will help us find a cure.
Well, friends, there you have it. Right from the mouths of family members who've been through this process. And as touching as these stories are, I mean, you think about this, the conversation is not an easy one to have with those loved ones that might be facing that end of life decision or that final chapter that they have. But this is a way that these family members, these donors, are able to extend their legacy. I mean, this is a way to continue to be a part of the solution. And friends, won't you continue to be a part of the solution? Now, we are just about 70% to our goal, and I have a really, really strong feeling in my heart that we're going to achieve that here this evening. There might be someone that's going to come in here just at the final second and push us over the top, but it's individuals like Jocelyn and Dr. Nancy Staglianato, whose match is still out there. So if you want to have your donations double, continue to give, or Paul or Solna or Bethany or Don, thinking back upon that loved one who lived, that life well lived, but now is able to again continue to keep that legacy, continue to help be able to be a part of that cure. Because friends, you are a part of the solution. You're collaborating with us here this evening. Collaboration plus access equals treatments, which then can turn into a cure. So let's keep doing this. There's lots of moving parts, and you were a big part of this. So let's keep doing this, and we can celebrate these lives and help them to then continue to live on. And your gift is a gift that keeps on giving, because once that ultimate gift of the brain donation is made, it then goes right into the researcher's hands and can help so many, help our children, help our grandchildren, our great-great-grandchildren. This is generations that we are serving here right now. So let's continue to let's do this. This is confirmation. This is collaboration. The access is right now, and to donate. We want you to do this. And as you heard directly from Dr. Nancy Staglianato, I mean, she's not only just a neuroscientist who really wants to help find this cure as fast as she can, but is also a daughter whose father, had to suffer through this. But she's like, you know what? I want my dad to live on. I want him to do some great work. And not only, is working through that donation, but also putting her dollars behind this to accelerate that, and knows the value of these brain bank samples. So let's do this, friends. Now, whether you've given, maybe a $50 donation to help with their educational packets, or can make that contribution of $100, or like our friend Judith, you might have seen her name pop up in the donation level. It said she gave $26. That's not just a single gift. That is a monthly gift. So friends, if you'd like to make that $750 a year gift right now and put that on, give, a portion monthly, this is that chance to do it. You can do that. You can provide that grant, provide that sponsorship for that family to reimburse them for that brain donation. And you can do that. You can extend that over an entire year's time. So friends, continue to give. And maybe you are working on your, kind of your legacy giving opportunity. Why not consider putting CurePSP in that last will and testament, and really, again, not only leaving that brain, but also leaving those dollars, behind to just keep pushing it forward. Keep doing that. And then also that $1,500 donation, help us to support that genome sequencing. And you saw that of how it all works together. I still can't even comprehend it. My neurons are just banging against each other and just like, what did I just watch? But we don't need to know the science, but we need to know that your donations are really, really making a difference here this evening. So whether it's in our direct Fund the Need, Fund the Cure right now, or friends, heading over to our silent auction, don't forget about that auction button. Hit that. There's some great items that are in there. Continue to do this. Continue to be a part of this. Continue to be a part of CurePSP, and let's give. So let's keep going. Get that word out there. Remember to use the hashtags. Share this because it is also awareness that this is a thing. Yes, brain donations are a thing, and we need them. We need your help, whether it's, with dollars or with, donations. Yeah, let's do that right through here. And friends, you can share the website, you can share the Facebook page, you can share what we are doing together here tonight. We have almost raised over $70,000 together. And I'd have to thank everyone for continuing to give, continue to be a part of this. It's the resources, it's the research, and it's the cures that you are part of this. I mean, Christoph, I know, you be diving into this and knowing how much good work that this is doing and the value that these donations are. I mean, you've got to be so excited. So Christoph, I mean, this is great, but we're so close to the goal. Let's keep working hard, because I know you're working hard every day.
Yes, we all are. And I know we're 30% from the goal. And we are kind of getting close to that 90 minutes that I told you we're going to spend together. It would be really great if we were passing the 70,000. But I'm amazed at the generosity that we've gathered today already. And thank you again, Bobby, for bringing your energy into this evening. So again, we're 30% short from our goal. But what I can tell you in this virtual world is that me and the team and everyone here will be working hard in the coming weeks to try to hit our $100,000 goal. This is one of the silver lining of virtual environment. We've created a lot of videos and a lot of engagement, and we'll keep on pushing many weeks after tonight's event. So I just want to thank you. We're close to the end of our evening there, and so I want to thank you all so much for joining. There's so many people who contributed to the success of this event. The entire staff is here on the chat and on different portal here to make sure everything is smooth. So hopefully it was. You can send us some feedback. I know there'll be a email sent to everyone right in shortly after this event, so you have more information. I want to spend just a couple seconds and extend a heartfelt thank you to the people that contributed to this testimonial video. Jocelyn Gervais-Finney, Paul Freeman, who's a great supporter at CurePSP, and I consider him a good friend also. Solna Brody, Bethany Sproul, LeBron, and Don Sproul, and others. To me, this testimonial really summarized a lot of what we've been talking about tonight, from the importance of coming up to a decision, to the what I mentioned around solace and closure once the families get the report, to the importance of enabling science and research. So I thought this was all deeply moving, and I want to thank everyone for that. So that's all for me. Thank you for joining us. Again, I'm Christoph Diaz, Vice President of Scientific Affairs at CurePSP, and it's been a pleasure and an honor to be with you all tonight. And so the closing remark will go to Bobby. So back at you, Bobby. Thank you all.
Wow. Dr. Diaz, what an honor to share this virtual event with you, and an honor to be a part of this mission, and to be an honor to be a part of CurePSP. And I have to say a very, very special thank you to Carissa Dunn, who stepped up and said, I'm going to give monthly $62.50 a month. Think about that. I mean, we drop that, at a fast food restaurant. And she said, I'm going to make the decision, and I'm going to give monthly, and I'm going to donate because there are families out there that this little bit of dollars could be holding them back from making this very vital donation. And your donations, I have to thank you. Now, friends, yes, we're just a little bit shy of the goal, but you know what's exciting? We have almost fully funded 100 grants going back to families. So let's celebrate that. I mean, this is amazing of all of us coming together, because here at the beginning of the night, it was zero. And here we're at the end of our event, and it's $70,000 or more. And the giving will continue to keep going. So continue to be a part of this. And even the smallest donation, you can be a part of this effort to offer support, resources to the lives of so many in the neurodegeneration community. We also welcome larger gifts. And if there isn't a level that I have asked at, or you want to give it an anonymous gift, please, please, please reach out, email, text, however it is. But this is your chance to be a part of this. Oh, don't forget our auction. We've got our auction is up there, and friends, that's going to be open until 7 p.m. Eastern time. That's right. The silent auction will be open until 7 p.m. Eastern time is when that's going to close. Don't forget, silent auction. The computer might have glitched, is going to be open until 7 p.m. on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So lots of time. Share that out there. Let's get some bid going in there. And friends, keep giving and being a part of this. So I want to thank all of you for collaborating with us, helping us to provide that access and helping us to create these treatments, this research, these resources, and all of this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, my name is Bobby D. Truly inspired to be here with you this evening to help us cure PSP. All right. Have a great evening. We'll see you all soon. All right. Thanks again. Congratulations, everyone. Keep giving. Let's do this. Let's do it. All right. We'll see you all later. Bye, everyone.